Hey everybody, it's Katie Harris from Philly Wellness Center, and in this, we're talking about weight loss and why it's complicated and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to go over how to select foods that you're going to use for weight loss, and I would say there's lots of influences out there that are going to do this way better, and I would look them up, but this is some of the stuff that you've heard and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? Why it's so expensive? I don't want to, whatever. But it's really, really important that the food that you're putting in your body is of high quality, because it takes the body so much energy and effort to counteract your pesticides and the hormones that are given, and all the issues, the inflammation that comes with all of the food that we're eating, your body has to deal with. So it's really, really important to make it as easy for your body as humanly possible. Some things are absolutely out of our control. We can't really control the quality of the soil at this point. That's in the hands of our farmers, and our we have to just hope that our government is doing what it needs to do to make sure that we get high quality food. But the best we can do is just be knowledgeable. If you want to take up the cause, absolutely, they definitely need more people helping out with this. But if that's not your life purpose, and you just want to know the basics, that's what we're talking about here. So prioritizing whole unprocessed foods. So choosing foods in their natural state with minimal processing, avoiding ultra-processed foods with long ingredient list, artificial additives, and preservatives, because those are not real. Those are chemicals, and everything that you can't pronounce, your body has to break down at some point, and that means it's using vital resources to attack that state. And if you have too much of it, then that means it can't do the things that it's supposed to do, because you have a pool of vitamins and minerals, and your body can only do so much. So it has to start rationing things out. And one of the first things it's going to do is attack things that are foreign as best as it can, but then it might not have enough to give you brain clarity or energy, because it's so busy breaking down artificial additives or preservatives. Choose organic when possible. Why? Because they have fewer pesticides. That doesn't always mean no pesticides. So you do have to read the stuff. No synthetic fertilizers, no GMOs. And again, it gets hard to know who to trust with this stuff. And it ends up being a lot of work trying to find foods that don't have pesticides or synthetic fertilizers. So you have to find places that you trust. For us, the easiest thing is to go to Whole Foods, though even Whole Foods, you still have to look. It's not a guarantee that everything that you buy there is going to be as clean as possible, but it's cleaner, I would say, than the other options that we have around us. So if you want to budget, you want to focus on organic for the dirty dozen. So that's you want to buy organic strawberries, spinach, kale, because they have high pesticides. And they can cause the biggest problem. So you start eating kale and spinach and strawberries thinking you'll be healthy, but all it's doing is really overtaxing the body by giving it so many things to break down these different pesticides and toxins. Less important for your clean 15 avocados, onions, pineapples. They have lower pesticide residues, mostly because they have that really thick skin on them. So it's not as important to buy organic. So if you need to save money somewhere, and you can only buy a couple of organic things, buy organic strawberries and regular avocados, let's say. Selecting high quality animal products, making sure they're grass-fed, pasture-raised, regenerative farm-raised meat to avoid the hormones and antibiotics. And this isn't political in any way, shape, or form. It's about, if the cow ate it, the chicken ate it, and then you eat it, you have to process all of those things as well. So if there's toxins, there's hormones, there's antibiotics, that was in the animal when it was processed, it is now in that meat. So when you eat it, you now have to process it. Eggs, you want to look for pasture-raised, organic, they say avoid cage free. So that's another, one of those marketing tricks where it just means they have in an indoor space. If you can get animals that are eating things that they're supposed to eat, chickens actually eat bugs, and they eat grass. They don't normally eat corn. So the quality of that meat and eggs can vary based on how the chicken was raised. Choosing raw, grass-fed, or A2 dairy is better for digestion and nutrient density. Looking for high-quality fats. So your extra virgin olive oil, you want this to be cold pressed. And I know this all gets really complicating and frustrating, but you don't want hot pressed oils. You want them to be cold pressed. They are more expensive. Avocado oil, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, all really great. Your highly refined seed oils. These are very, very, very inflammatory and oxidative. They cause an enormous amount of stress. You need to avoid canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed oils. These refined seed oils are extremely inflammatory. Please don't use them. They're causing major, major havoc. It's a huge problem because most restaurants that you're going to go to are using these seed oils. So everything is cooked in some sort of seed oil, which is probably why you don't feel great after you've gone out to eat dinner somewhere. Check for food labels and ingredient list. It's also a reason to go to restaurants that prioritize, healthy farm-fed, farm-to-table types of foods. But again, you don't have any control over how they're cooking and what oils they're using. So it does get very frustrating. But check food labels and ingredient list to avoid added sugars, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, natural flavors like number, I forget what it was, number 41, which are very synthetic and cancer causing. A lot of these things are known carcinogens. Choose foods that are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, like dark leafy greens. Just make sure they don't have pesticides on them. You also want to prefer sprouted, fermented, or soaked grains. Sprouted grains are where they allow the grain. It takes longer, so it's more expensive. But a lot of times you can find sprouted grains in the freezer section, interestingly. Choose local and seasonal produce because that food is going to be fresher, more nutrient dense, lower in chemicals, ideally, right? Not always. So this is something that you want to learn more about. So you can shop at your farmer's market or join a community sport at agriculture. Most towns or cities have a lot of interest in this. And now maybe you do too. Be cautious with packaged health foods. Even organic or natural products can be loaded with sugars and fillers. Read the net carb and sugar content, especially on protein bars or snacks. If it's in a box, it most likely has some sort of preservative. Like if it can last for a couple of years, just imagine what that does to your system. It needs to break that kind of stuff down. And then storing foods properly using glass containers because plastics can leach. Don't microwave with plastic. Another thing we can't really avoid is that a lot of our food, even if it is completely pesticide free and all this stuff, it's transported in plastic, and the plastic when heated can leach into the food, and now you have nanoplastics to deal with, and nanoplastics are extremely difficult for the body to break down. They say on average an average adult in their lifetime will have 40 pounds of plastic to digest, and that's very, very, very taxing on the body to do that. So instead of glass containers in your house, instead of plastic, use glass containers. Store nuts, seeds, and oils in cool, dark places so they don't oxidate, and avoid high heat cooking with delicate oils such as olive oil and flaxseed oil. High heat cooking should be done with coconut oil, avocado oil. But those are some of the ways to think about your food and why you're buying food. And if you're having arguments in your house about money and why you're buying this expensive food, it's way more expensive to deal with the consequences of what happens when you eat toxins and pesticides and hormone-laden animal products than it is to buy the stuff in the first place that will give you the nutrients that you need, because buying the supplements that you need to counterbalance all this stuff gets very, very expensive as well. So hopefully this is helpful. I would definitely look up your community supported agricultural programs, and there's lots of influencers that talk about this, that they have lots of resources, lots of tricks and tips that you can get and to learn more.